Greetings, hello, and welcome to Deadhaus Whispers. I'm your host, Faceless Mike.
And I am Calypso. Hello, everyone.
And this week, it's a matter of class. I couldn't resist. Sorry. I couldn't
That
resist.
Was good. It's not punny anymore. Yes, today we are talking about all the classes that have now been revealed for Deadhaus Sonata. And for those of you joining us for the first time on episode 3 or episode 1 or episode 2, if you don't know, Deadhaus Sonata is a spiritual successor to Legacy of Kain. It's a narrative-driven action RPG in which you play the undead fighting the living. An unstoppable force from Deadhaus, you are a monster among men, dealing death and destruction on a massive scale. Deadhaus Sonata development is leading on PC and will support all major platforms.
Exactly. And following on from yesterday's stream on the Deadhaus official stream, we were talking about all the different classes. So today we'll delve into that a bit more in ways that most people probably couldn't on the other channel.
Yeah, so fun. It's going to be fun.
So our first one today, when I pull up and get to share my screen, will be
my favorite.
Lord Zoran himself.
Yes. Oh, he's a beastly boy. For those of you listening on our Spotify, I highly recommend going to deadhaussonata.com and checking that out. They have all the classes and everything and their artwork laid out. The vampire for this one, for our SoundCloud listeners, is think of the vibe that I get from this vampire anyway is if any of you guys remember that old 2004 or 2003 like Van Helsing movie when Dracula transforms in the very ending, he's a giant like bat monster creature. The look for that kind of highly like that's what I get from this. And also if you guys have read the Necroscope book series, it's a like KGB Cold War style vampire spy novel series. The vampires in that are very reminiscent of this. It's kind of what I get from this one.
Definitely. And just say hello, Wyvern Tamer. How are you doing?
Hey,
they like the pun. Team White. Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll get to the white eventually. Vampire, how is it I put it? I think my reaction when I was lucky enough that I got to be one of the first ones like outside of Apocalypse to get to see this. Dennis and Jack
you're lucky.
You
were on the reaction stream, weren't you?
Yeah, they brought me on specifically to go at this, and my first reaction was it wasn't this concept art; it was another one, and then they showed me this, and my thoughts were vampires brought to you by Clive Barker.
That's a pretty good description. That's apt.
When you take a look at the way the armor is, like if you look at his belt, his chains, the kind of weird like corset bit going in under the armor, and then like there's loads of accoutrements hanging underneath. I don't know what they are. The keys, torture devices. Maybe that's going to be how he starts up his Tesla.
Possibly got it from Pinhead's closet. I'm thinking. Yeah.
Don't tell Daddy I stole his belt, huh?
Yeah.
You were laughing and then teased us all mercilessly. Yes, I did. Hello, Safi.
That's true.
I was teasing everyone, but holy crap, you know what I meant, right? Like I done my best. I think it was fairly apt on my description, but they said don't describe it in too much detail.
Yeah, no, it's such a good like artwork. I think Verpaint, the studio behind it. Hey guys, I think Verpaint's the guys who are behind these artworks, right?
It's Verpaint.
Fantastic work coming from these guys. But this vampire man, like this is very back to like traditional kind of like 80s horror movie monster looks, you know, back when stuff was scary and when you can go all out with special effects and everything like that. You know, it's gross. Like if you zoom in or whatever on his hair, you can see like his hair is thin and it's like the skin is crazy. You can see like the scratch marks on his arm and everything. It's it's nuts. Like this vampire is
I like
crazy.
I like the subtle hints in the background. And again, for anyone listening on like Spotify or anywhere else you find this podcast later on, if you can't see this, if you go to deadhausesonata.com and you go into the classes section, they'll have all of the photos up that we're looking at now. And in the background, if you take a look, you can see like there's that staircase going up, and you can see like it's not so much a crypt, it looks like some type of library or something. And it just looks amazing. Like the Vert Paint guy's done an incredible job on it. But what Jack wanted to get across when he mentioned it to me, like to describe like how the characters should look, it was a case that I want you to know exactly what it is when you see it. So when you look at this, you don't think like, oh, that's a nobleman, or that's a this, that, or the other. That's a vampire. Some vampires are pretty looking humans, or this, that, or the other. Like, oh my god, but he's so handsome. Never mind your Twilight crap. Like, this is like, you look at this. Yes, that is a vampire. This is a monster. There is no mistaking that. And yo, Bishop, what's up?
Hey, Bishop. Yeah, this is gruesome, and you can tell it's a gruesome creature because he has a friggin' gauntlet on his left hand or something.
That's some like early 90s Hot Topic armor rings right there.
Totally. I remember having a bunch of those. I remember wearing those.
I still have those. I'm not gonna lie. I still have
like,
those.
It's great. And I do like his sort of, I guess, shoulder padding or like neck padding where his like cape or something is attached, how it's just spikes. That's pure
some kind
spikes.
of like, I don't know whether that's some kind of shoulder thing or is that part of the breastplate bit, but yeah, it's the thing that's holding on his kick-ass cape.
Yeah, it is awesome. It is really, really awesome, and I want to see. And this is Lord Zoran, so this is like a main character.
Our Lord.
But I want to see what the other vampires are going to look like. You know.
Yeah, because like Lord Zoran predates
be.
Nagasaki. Like Lord Zoran was around to know Nagasaki as a human.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much spoilers, but if you read on the lore pages, it tells you that Nagasaki had a very particular background.
Yes, I didn't read that part, but I do remember them fighting. I remember.
Well, Calypso,
believe in the Bible.
I'll give you the hint. Remember when Nagasaki awoke as a revenant, his armor seared his skin.
So that has something to do with, Zoran's got to be behind something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think, Zoran remembers it before, but it doesn't mention whether Nagasaki remembers, because we're not too sure how much of the human remains when the dead become newly undead.
Yeah. So the question is like, does Zoran and do other vampires remember their past lives or not?
That's the question. Is it a case of they've completely lost all memory? But surely they must remember some. Yeah, Wyvern Tamer got it. The Ashen Ring.
Ashen Ring.
The Revenant has to, because like they're born of hatred and revenge.
Yeah.
So surely they must remember something. But how much of that is them? Mm-hmm. You know, if they've lost their humanity, they're no longer human. So, you know, what I want to know is, basically, how bestial or monstrous will we be as vampires when playing, since Lord Zoran is ancient?
Yeah, that's true. Are we going to grow from being kind of like slow and weak to being right off the bat just powerhouses or killer vampires? Them stat-wise, vampires stat-wise, within the world of Deadhaus are, I guess, medium tier on all of the archetype systems.
Nice. Yeah, I got that out in the middle of all.
Mm-hmm. So, and I remember, I know obviously this is no longer to be counted as accurate, but if you guys have seen the really early gameplay footage for Deadhaus on the IGN or posted on my YouTube and other like various sources,
you've actually got a really good version of it. So
yeah, I'm surprised. So if you guys have seen like that early gameplay footage, obviously cancel it. It's non-existent anymore. It's, not how the game will play. But the vampire in that footage is like lightning. He's fast. He's zipping around. He's taking people out. So is that just, day 1 vampire, or is that day like 30 vampire, or like year 100 vampire? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
That leads me. That's what I wanted to bring up, was like, what will the play be like? Like, we've seen that, and I don't think the vampire is going to change too drastically from that. Like, you will be like, quickly sprinting from one enemy to the next as a vampire, slashing them to pieces, using abilities and whatnot. But how will the play styles evolve?
Yeah.
Like, you've got, from the way it's been described to me, none of these characters are going to be the traditional archetypes. There isn't going to be, the tank, the rogue, the healer. Like, they're going to be it done in a different way. The same way as like Warframe has things in a different way. So Deadhaus will also be its own different way.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that evolves and how that synergy evolves with classes. Like, who knows? I shit talk it a lot, but you could end up seeing the ghoul and the vampire being the perfect friggin' buddies when we're running the game.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that brings up the whole synergy thing. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
And Rebecca, this is thanks for quoting me, Rebecca. Rebecca says, "Is that day 1 vampire?" Said, "Vampires don't do day."
That's very good point, though. Very good
point. So night 1, yes, night 1 night 1.
Night 1, or the dawn, or the setting of the first evening.
Yeah,
the dawning of the first day, the setting of the first evening.
Yeah.
What's Bishop up here? He's got, I think you might need to explore what a human is in death to know what may carry over in undeath. Dude, that's getting way too philosophical for me.
Yeah, that's way too philosophical for this episode.
Oh, wow. It's like, what is death? What is life? What is a man? What a miserable...
That is what is a man? What is I'm glad that Bishop said that, though. I think you might need to explore what human is in death, because that is a question that whites seem to be asking in the lore, and it might be something that's brought up in game and in the story wise and everything. But right now for vampires, I think it's just all about drinking blood and having some nice human cocktails.
I'm just like, I'm stoked for the vampire, just because, like, again, I know I bring this up a lot, and we all bring this up a lot. It's mentioned almost hourly in the Discord, but yes, as a massive Legacy of Kain fan, of course, the first leaning will be towards a vampire. Like, by the way, everyone, I think you're all on it anyway, bar Reb. On Deadhaus, there is a poll on the forums at the moment going for what's most popular, like what class are you going to roll first?
I still need to vote because it's Team Vampire right now for me all the way.
It's Team Vampire. Hold on, I'm going to pull this up here now and see, which class will you choose? Yeah, we're still rolling the same. So, like, vampires are sitting at 15 votes. And then in second, which completely stunned me, the Lich with 9 votes.
Only 9 votes, guys. You got to get on the forum and vote. Like, come on.
And then everyone else is tied for third place with 5. Like, literally everyone else is evenly spread.
Yeah. So we have a good middle ground for everyone except for Vampire, which is the best, obviously.
Like, I'm shocked that it ended up with the Lich being second. Like, I did not see that coming at all. Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't.
If
we were betting people, who would you have said before today? Who would you have said?
Out of obviously,
who do you think
Vampire
would be the second
lead.
most popular?
Second one, Revenant, because it's apart from like the 3 classes that they've been touting since day 1, which has been the Vampire, the Lich, and the Revenant. I think it'd be Revenant, because excluding the Vampire, we have your wizard essentially, and then your warrior, to look at it in like traditional fantasy crap, right? Who really likes running wizards in games that aren't just debuffers, buffers, and healing teammates. Like, come on, Donald Duck in Kingdom Hearts is like one of the most useless team members ever, and he's technically a wizard. So I would expect it to be the Revenant, because like, just have you guys seen the Revenant? Like, have you guys
I
gone
know.
and seen the Revenant?
Actually, while you mention that, we will see the Revenant.
Yes. And that brings
There
us to
we
the
go.
Revenant. Yeah. Like, look at this beast of a guy. Look, just huge. This is another main character. This is actually King Nagastak, right, Mike?
Yep. That is our Lord Nagasaki.
Yes. So Nagastak, he's got the big hammer there. He's literally sitting on a pillar throne, as another homage to a classic series that we all love.
We know that
and he's
pillar.
ginormous.
I have to
Like,
laugh
even just
there.
sitting down, you can tell he's
Rebecca
huge.
going there. What a human is in death. If I vlogged first thing in the morning, I think you'd have a clue. And then everyone's like, Rebs, team vampire, Bishop, team lich. Brother, you stabbed me in the heart. Lich? Really? How could you?
Mhm.
Of all the classes. And then Sloth. Hey, Sloth with team white.
Okay.
Wyvern Tamer's going to be over the moon now. Yep, Nagastak.
That's 6 people now with Team White. So for those of us listening on Spotify, I don't want to say that if you've watched Game of Thrones, then you have a really good idea of what Nagastak looks like, at least with the leader of the White Walkers, or just how they depicted White Walkers within that universe in general.
Facially, the face wise.
Yeah, facially, and like,
I was wondering where you were going with that for a minute.
Yeah, it's if this was your first glance and you have no idea that this is a Revenant or that this is King Nagastak within the lore, you'd think, okay, this is just Game of Thrones. If the Deadhaus Sonata logo wasn't at the corner, this is just Game of Thrones fan art, and it's a White Walker, is what a first impression would be.
I'm just looking at the detail in that crown.
Oh no, it's insane.
Did
hammers
you
what
notice,
gets me though?
If you look in the very center of that crown, in that little thing in the middle, there's actually a very small triangle.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, representing the system. That's cool. That's cool.
And the pictures and some sort of stuff. Yes, it is literally the slideshow, Bishop, because I can't get this on screen any other way. So pardon the flickering, because I didn't want it to be constantly flicking through all the classes. So we do one at a time here. So yeah, pardon that. But yeah.
So yeah, no, if you zoom in or whatever, I'm zooming in now. I'm on the website, and you can, they have super high quality images on the website for each class. You can save it and then zoom in. But if you zoom in on his face, you can see that he's missing half of his nose. His eyes are just pure white. He's got.
If you take a look, that was silver armor that is now black.
Yeah, that is a cool detail.
Remember the Liberatus.
I think they changed the name again.
Yeah, I can't keep up. Right, but that is a mention of the White Knight turned black, or something to that kin.
Yeah.
And if you look under his chest plate there, that's smashed open, on his belly, half of that flesh is starting to rot off.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Lord Zorin who defeated Nagastak in battle and is the one who killed him in the first place.
Interesting.
That's a theory I have, at least, because I know that within the lore, Nagastak, what's the word? Recruited Zorin to be his right-hand general of one of his armies or something, because they sort of had a mutual understanding with that honor of battle with the two.
I just love the fact of this is one of the few times you'll ever see a game where we have the leader who is a male. He's the king, but he's still showing midriff and belly button.
Oh yeah, finally.
How often do you ever get that? And they go
male,
up a female armor?
Yep, now we finally got it. Female armor for dudes in Deadhaus confirmed.
Just a little rotten, but it's still good. It's still good. I think the triangle is more likely a reference to it. That's exactly what I was getting at, Wyvern Tamer. It's the representation of the Trinary Arc system and the
I
symbol of Deadhaus.
I do like the idea of the third eye though. Like you become a revenant or
Mhm.
something, you open your third eye, you become more wise with knowing things or spiritual in a sense.
Yeah.
With that whole like concept of third eyes and awakenings and yada yada yada. I think that's a really good idea as well.
So, since we talked about the vampire, we're now a revenant. What do you think this playstyle is going to end up like?
Okay. Given the fact that they stat wise they're fully maxed out with the physical
Mhm.
part of the triangle, then I don't want to say tank, even though like it seems like they're heading that way. I don't want to say tank, and you already hinted at that,
Brute,
like
brute, berserker style. Yeah.
yeah, like tank or brute berserker. But then there's can you sort of spec your revenant to maybe have like be a bit maybe kind of battle mage leaning where you use magic and stuff to your advantage while still having a physical element to it.
Yeah, I think you could probably lean that way, but
Not
only
full
in
battle
yeah,
mage.
insofar as like maybe Geralt from The Witcher, like you've light magic, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
You've a few basic spells and abilities, but you would definitely still be relying on like physical melee damage, or like real physical, not in the sense of sword, but physical as in not magical or not essential.
Yeah. I want to say for my homies who played Diablo and Diablo 2 back in the day, barbarians all the way. Rolling a barbarian with some slight magical abilities and everything thrown in there, like to make his whirlwind last longer, or his jumps go farther, or something like that. Something akin to that, I want to say. Plus, I mean, come on, look at the hammer. Look at the giant hammer Nagasaki is wielding. If you can't
I
throw
want
that,
that. I want that
swing it
hammer.
around, yeah, I want a replica of that thing as like a paperweight, a glorified paperweight. So obviously has gamers and hold on a minute. Bishop says so obviously has gamers and a mechanic as gamers, sorry, and a mechanic we are aware of the trinary system, but is the world of Deadhaus aware?
To an extent, okay. So the way I would interpret it is, Deadhaus itself is aware because they are mastering these particular elements. But I don't think that's how the world works. I think that is something only representing Deadhaus, because I would believe that the humans and maybe other houses, as they go along, they might have their own version of a trinary arc system, but theirs might be different. So they might not have essential. Maybe they have holy, or maybe
Yeah,
elemental, or maybe tech,
I
or
don't.
something like that. We don't know. There's all speculation, but I think the trinary system will be unanimous across like all things, but what the trinary system of each house contains may be different.
Deadhaus is not complete. I
Oh,
believe.
I
I
did not.
believe. Yeah, there is a bit in the Necrolibriatus, and some say that the system of Deadhaus is not complete. Wyvern Tamer.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get
At
the
the octahedron.
octahedron from.
So you've got the triangle with the other triangle on top going the opposite direction.
Hmm. That might be rather than okay. Oh man, this is really interesting territory. So you have the trinary archetype
Yeah,
system
we
for
need Varric on for this
yes.
discussion.
So for people who don't know, the trinary archetype system is going to be like their main gameplay system for Deadhaus, rather than having it be traditional, health, mana, and like stamina or whatever. Within games, it's going to be the physical is its own entire element. It's swords, it's shields, it's maces, it's hammers. It's if you're punching someone and you're getting punched or whatever, you're essentially in the physical state. You're in that tree. Then you have the magic, which is just pure fireballs and everything like that. But you can enchant things or whatever. And then you have your essence or your essential, which is artifacts. And like that's the basics of it. It gets really
Think of it like
complicated.
soul. Think
Yeah.
of essence like soul energy.
Yeah. So you have that triangle, and it's represented with a triangle right now with the logo and like with conceptually and everything. So you have a triangle
Branding.
now and branding. Now inverse that triangle. What do you get? What is the inverse of physical, magical, and essential that sort of balances it out? You know what I mean? Would it be all? Is it literally because physical is alive? Would the opposite of that be pure
Now,
death?
now, here's the one for you. Varric will kill me because I'm going to butcher the explanation of this. Okay, so do you know the triangle, right? We're going to get another stream. I've already said it to Varric. Varric's going to be coming on, and we're going to be philosophizing about this. We're going to do a philosophy stream on Deadhaus, and we're going to have Varric on. He's going to explain this far better. I understand it, but trying to explain it in 50 words or less, I fail.
Yeah.
So you've got the trinary archetype system. That's one triangle, right? But then you have to put other triangles on it to make a pyramid, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a second pyramid upside down touching the top. So there's a middle power which spreads out into another two powers which bisect, and then that one spreads out into a bottom two, but all of these ones interconnect. Think of like two pyramids point to point, almost in an hourglass shape. That's where the octahedron comes in.
Yeah, and I don't want to say I believe didn't you mentioned like some Barker influence or whatever. I'm pretty sure that like there's Barker influence with the triangles and the inverses and like the black pyramids or whatever, Leviathan or something, all that
Essence
kind of stuff.
Soul, yeah.
Essence of soul. Like it's it's one of those things where you kind of really have to see to understand, because trying to explain it in a podcast or in text or whatever, even Dennis has tried to explain it multiple times.
I'm going to need
something you really got to see.
I'm going to need a TED talk and at least 3 artistic illustrators to get my point across.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I had something else for the whole triangle thing, but I completely forgot it. It'll come back to me later, maybe. Who knows? But yes, so I think getting back to the Revenant here, the Revenant I think is going to be like pure physical, like powerhouse as like a base, as a default. Yeah. As a default, it'll be the tanky tank, and then you can
that's how
spec it out with how the skill trees and stuff.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to be rolling my Revenant. My Revenant is going to be my tank and spank.
Yeah,
nasty guy. That's who that's going to be. Like my vampire is going to be like my kind of all rounder, and my Revenant is going to be the tank and spank one, because I still like I know this is not going to roll the way traditional like ARPGs are, but I always fall into that tank role, and I do really enjoy it, and I'm going to find a character to make that right. Wyvern Tamer, I'm going to be a rolling a mighty glacier. That's it. Like they're the way they're going, and I know it's not going to fit it like that. I know when you talk about the skill system, that's one. Y'all need to make sure you're all free on St. Patrick's Day, because that's when the skill system is going to be brought up on the official Deadhaus podcast. Or live stream, rather. Yeah, so that'll be St. Patrick's Day, 17th of March. And yeah, it's going to, like, I'm blessed to get looking behind the scenes. It's going to be wildly different from what everyone expects. Everyone that's tried to hypothesize about this has been wrong.
Yeah,
I can just say that.
Yeah, like not to quote, someone, but to say it's going to be massively different is what every game company says about something, and I don't believe that it's not going to be massively different. I completely believe it is. It's just one of those things that where you really got to see it to believe it, or you're not, or you can talk all you want and walk the walk, but you got to see it to believe it,
Oh, definitely. Like it's a case of like you'll need to all be there, because as you just said, every company loves doing that. Oh, we're different. But let me put it to you this way: as someone like that's just come into this, I've never played a game with this thing in it before.
Yeah,
and I've played a lot of games in my time. And now,
It. Oh, and I mean, well, now we have the Wraith, I guess.
yeah.
Um, and see, man, see, this is where starts to get complicated with Deadhaus. Like, you have your vampire and your revenant. Vampire's like middle of the
Makes
road.
sense.
You know, you have your revenant, makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you have, even I guess the Lich, you could say, makes sense, sort of.
No,
Then
the
you have
only
your
ones that
Wraith.
make sense, you've got vampire. Okay, we know what the vampire is and how a vampire works.
Yeah.
Revenant, like you just said, we know how they work, and the same Lich. Outside of that, none of this adheres to any basic forms at all.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's so bonkers. And I highly recommend listening to the radio plays. Their Deadhaus Sonata does have radio
Very
plays
much
on their
so.
YouTube. Apart from digging into lore, getting a really good radio drama for a couple of minutes, you sort of get to understand what these classes are initially, and what their like roles, their base roles, I should say, rather than what they will be. Their base role, should say, will kind of be. And the Wraith is supposed to be, an assassin sort of character within the radio play, and like
The only way
how
I
it
can figure the
operates.
Wraith is glass cannon. That's the idea I'm currently
Yeah.
rolling with. But I still don't see, like, glass cannons are high damage but very vulnerable. I don't see this thing being vulnerable.
No,
Like,
I don't either. And that's the crazy thing. Like, that's the crazy thing, because the Wraith, gameplay wise, or lore wise, I should say, is a character that I believe you have to willingly become a Wraith, right?
no, that's Lich. Wraith is done
Lich.
unwillingly. It's someone that has been tortured in a very specific manner and has their soul torn between the land of the living and the land of the dead. It is shackled between both, and it can be on neither side.
Okay.
So it's permanently tormented.
So, and then
Pain
you have that
personified
switch.
into spirit.
Yeah, that's crazy already. If that doesn't get you guys excited for Deadhaus or that character, at least for the
Rev
Wraith.
says it there. We experienced them in the Witcher series. Rebecca's a Witcher fan also, Calypso.
Nice.
And it's not the exact same as one, but if you've played The Witcher, you know what a Wraith is.
So you have a basic understanding of what a Wraith is. Now what Deadhaus has done is taken that Wraith and like twisted it, literally twisted it to, man, just that artwork gets me. Like, I'm almost Team Wraith.
That's my number 3.
I'm almost Team Wraith because of this artwork.
I think Wraith even jumped above Revenant for me. Because I was like, okay, I'm rolling Vamp main alt Revenant, and then when we seen the Wraith, I'm like, that Revenant's slipping down that ladder a little right there. That's
yeah. Oh man, oh man, and this the lore description. Listen to this. For days, their bodies are mutilated, bringing them even closer to the release they so desperately crave. But death is withheld from them. It is only once their soul straddles the boundary between worlds that the binding can begin. In this medial state, their soul is ensnared in accursed chains that prevent its crossing to the world of the dead, trapped between realms. That's awesome.
the radio play is just beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, it's great, and the sound effects and everything are fantastic. But gameplay wise, how do you think Wraiths are going to play, barring whatever you've heard and seen behind the scenes?
I think the best way I would imagine would be somewhere between a rogue and a warlock. If you think like World of Warcraft style. So you're talking about something that can slip through the shadows, but is highly focused on debuffs and severe direct damage. Like the way warlocks operate in World of Warcraft. Like it's all about debuffs and hitting with spells and stuff. But they will have that rogue, like being able to disappear into the shadows, float through walls, that kind of You get me. You get where I'm going.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah, I
hard
get
to
where you're going.
describe, but in
I get where
future
you're
it'll
going.
be. How do you describe that? It's like a wraith from Deadhouse.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like a wraith. It's not just a warlock. It's also a rogue. you know, like
That should
that's
be
something I want
cool.
to know, or I guess see in gameplay wise. I mean, once we get the skill trees and everything out there, I believe St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yep.
Is when things are going to start to make more sense, and a lot of this speculation will be fact, I suppose. Is if I want to run a roguish, two blades, backstabs with a wraith, can I do that? You know,
Was it mentioned about weapon locking? Because the last I'd heard before, you
um,
see, there wasn't any, but then I think
I
I
think
missed a
it's
bit where there is certain weapons locked.
I believe some certain weapons will be, but most of it's going to be open. It's kind of shuffling from what I
Hmm.
remember reading and hearing. Um, so I mean, unless wraiths can who needs blades when you can just use your giant evil skeleton fingers or something?
Well,
Like,
from the way I understand things, you know, the way in like ESO or Warframe, you can do exactly what you said. Like, well, what if I'm playing this character, but can I do this? Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not going to be that kind of system. Like your characters aren't going to be like standard Diablo-esque. This is your necromancer. This is
hmm
it. It's going to be more like ESO. Oh, that's cool. You're a dragon knight, but yeah, you want to use a staff? Sure. You want to use a bow? Go for it. You know, that's the way I see things, but don't think about it that literally.
yeah.
You'll see what I mean later on.
Maybe the wraiths are like the John Wicks, are like John Wick of this universe.
Oh, someone get me a John Wick Wraith pun somewhere.
Oh
This needs to be
man,
something.
yeah. Maybe wraiths are like John Wick. Anything is a weapon for them. They're like the ultimate assassins or something, killing people with pencils or you know.
Pencils, bony fingers,
Yeah.
that weird
Mhm.
Halo thingy, you
Yeah,
know.
that weird. That's the cool thing. So for those of you listening, the Wraith, think of if you guys have ever been to churches, and you've seen like pictures of saints, like Saint Anthony or stuff like that. Like picture this artwork of the Wraith. He's very much poised as like a saintly figure, and he has, rather than like a golden halo surrounding him, he has a pain halo, I guess is what it's
Yeah,
being called, and it's black. There's like needles or whatever sticking out of it and everything. It's literally, it looks like just
Halo of
spikes.
suffering, Halo
Yeah,
of
halo
pain.
of
Yeah,
suffering. It's awesome. It's so awesome looking. You can see his chains wrapped around his body that like keep him bound to the physical world, but also not bound to the physical world.
I like the
Like in
fact that
between.
the cloak kind of drifts down into from being like an actual like gown to being smoke.
Yeah, that's freaking cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. And then you have that's his like ethereal form or something. And then you have his physical form or whatever, I guess. When
Yeah,
he's shown, he's just picture the same thing with the pain halo. Inside of a black hood, you have a green
nothing.
glowing skull.
Oh, you mean in
Yeah,
the
sorry, I'm
ethereal
back on the
form?
first one. Yeah, ethereal form.
Yeah,
My bad. His ethereal form.
the
You have
physical
like
form.
green
It's just a
skeletons.
shroud.
Yeah. If you guys remember Batman Beyond and Blight, like the neon, toxic villain Blight or whatever, it gives me that kind of look, sort of.
That's where I
Only
was
the-
thinking about that from.
yeah, only darker and cooler and not cyberpunk.
Rebecca says there, but can wraiths phase in and out of corporeal form? Yes, from
Yes.
what we know, they can. Some of the ones that can change form at will.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting. Right, who have we got up next? Can you remember the reveal order?
Wasn't Lich next? No. No, it was Ghoul. Ghoul was next.
Ghoul?
I believe Ghoul. Ghoul was
Pretty
next.
boy.
Wraith, Ghoul, Banshee was in there. I think Banshee was after Ghoul. And then White. Maybe it was Banshee, Lich, and white. I don't remember, man.
There
But the
we go.
Ghoul, yeah. See, I'm almost swayed to Team Ghoul because of this artwork too.
He's got a chompy boy. He's
Mm-hmm.
hungry. Give him something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Geiger-esque look to this. This
Oh,
is just
definitely. It's totally H.R. Geiger. It's Geiger. It's for those if you guys have seen or heard of Scorn, there's a game coming out for like
yeah.
Xbox
Didn't you
One
back
and
that?
PS5. I backed it like 8 years ago,
You and
however long it was.
you and Sailor.
Yeah, me and Sailor backed it. It's called Scorn. It's pretty much what if H.R. Geiger and Lovecraft like made a video game together or something.
That's
And
actually a
that's
pretty good description.
yeah, and like that's what this Ghoul kind of looks like. So if you guys have know H.R. Geiger's work, it's that. It's pretty much that. Picture just almost pure bones with like some skin hanging off. There's a
looks
leg
like
nail in there.
looks like a Wendigo went rolling around in the back of a butcher
Yeah,
shop.
Wendigo rolling around to throw it back to Legacy of Kain for a minute. Malkaya. If you guys have
Yeah,
played Soul Reaver, the first Soul Reaver, think of how Malkaya was like just a fusion of bodies. Picture something not exactly that, but picture something along the lines of that kind of grotesque is where what the
it's
Ghoul sort
made
of
of
looks
teeth. Its mouth has teeth. Its arms have teeth. Its knees have teeth.
like. Mm-hmm.
Spiky bits.
It's just grody. It's grody and amazing. It's grody and great.
It looks like it should be like a Cannibal Corpse like album cover or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a good description too. That's a good description
That's
too.
just totally like, yeah, I'm that guy that used to listen to that kind of metal. It's like, yeah, that's a Cannibal Corpse album cover
The
right
teeth
there.
have teeth. I don't wanna I would say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if for guys who've played the Witcher series, the what do you call it? The necrophages?
Yeah,
That kind of gives
a
me
bit,
kind of like
not
that.
completely, but leaning
Not
that way.
completely. Yeah.
Bishop says, Faceless, the other day you said that some of the classes live perpetually in one of the three states. Did you just mean that they can't change willingly and only if something forced them? Kind of. Okay, so some classes will be able to shift willingly. Others will either need assistance or be forced. So either by damage taken to them or that maybe they need some artifact or particular ability. Cal, what's up? How are you keeping? Welcome to Deadhaus. Shilly time. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm dying to see how they roll. What way these guys like.
Oh yeah, the ghouls stat wise are moderate in both vitality and in essence. So artifacts and the soul, I suppose, the soul. And apparently ghouls are cannibals. I forgot about that fact.
That's
I
how
don't
they
know
get
why.
made. It's a Wendigo.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
kind of a Wendigo.
Yeah, I don't know why I forgot the fact that they're cannibals when their main mechanic is like you are what you eat, and like they're kind of evil Kirby almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, they for the act of cannibalism is an invitation to a ravenous spirit that covets the flesh. It is known by many names to many peoples, but its purpose is always the same: to inhabit the flesh so that it may consume. So it's just a dude who eats, and that's crazy. I completely forgot about that. That ghouls were cannibals, and that's their thing. I don't know why. that slipped my mind.
I'm still waiting for anyone to realize that the personification of each class.
Oh,
7 classes, 7 deadly sins.
Oh my God. I didn't even link that together, man. Here you are blowing my mind
Think about that.
on screen.
Gluttony.
Yeah.
Gluttony, anger, or revenge. I don't know what the.
Lust for the Banshee, I suppose.
Things
Oh
to take into
man.
place.
That's
Hey, Scott.
You're blowing my mind, dude. Wow. Okay, 7 deadly sins. Let me get the list. Okay, we have lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. Pride, I think, would be the vampire.
Yeah,
definitely. Wrath is the revenant. Gluttony is the
gluttony is the
ghoul.
Ghoul.
Lust would be the banshee.
Yeah.
Greed would be the
Lich.
Lich. Envy and Sloth. Let's see. I guess envy would be the white because they envy for knowledge. They hunger for knowledge and they want to
No,
know
I would have
more philosophical.
put sloth because they're dead. They're
Yeah.
dragged back because envy would be the wraith because it lusts, it wishes it was dead, but it cannot die.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
There we go.
That's
What
a
do you
really
think of
good
that?
connection. That's a really good connection.
I can't believe I've been holding on to this for 4 months. I can't believe no one mentioned it. I just wanted to put it out there publicly at one time.
That's a really good connection. I didn't even make those dots. Didn't even connect those dots. Way to go, Mike. Way to go.
Now Varrick's going to kill me. That's going against the thing.
Yeah.
Also, biblical interpretation of sloth, not laziness, as a waste of potential. Yep, loads of dead bodies cast aside and brought together.
Thanks for that, Wyvern Tamer. Yeah, wow. That's awesome. That's really awesome. So ghouls, I mean, they are gluttonous. They are hungry.
I'm dying to see that mechanic of what
I'm dying to see that mechanic too.
Yeah, you are what you eat. Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
like, he gave us a brief thing. Oh, maybe like if you ate such and such, you might, be stronger or faster. It's like, you've got more depth to this.
Yeah, that's why I call ghouls kind of evil Kirby's, because they can devour something and then maybe even get their abilities or get their power or just get stronger from it. I don't know if the mechanic is still going to be there or not. Things are as game development goes, things are often changing. But in one of the very first times that the ghoul was announced, I think it was even an interview with Jack before he joined the team. They talked about the ghoul, and it was like, if you eat, then you're going to get bigger. You're physically going to get bigger.
I'd say that's probably still true to an extent, but I honestly don't know. But I do think that there will be, I do think that the vampire is not the only shape-shifting class. I do think the ghoul and the white will have a certain element to that.
Yeah. And if you listen to our last episode, or watched our last episode, we did talk about the white and how that potential of maybe a white shape-shifting or transforming in some sort of form or way, shape, or form is a possibility for the white. So that'll be really interesting also.
Mm-hmm. And next up is your girlfriend.
My girlfriend, the Banshee is my number 2. Vampire is my number 1. The Banshee is my number 2. She is beautiful art-wise, and her lore and background is also fantastic, because Banshees are the only characters in Deadhaus and even traditional folklore that help me out here, Mike. That are part of the are only part of the dead realm. They've never known.
I was going to say, do you want to go for the actual real world of mythology or in Deadhaus? But both are technically
both
on the same way. In Irish culture, they're part of Anshida. People would go, oh, the she, as in the fairies. People think of fairy too literally, thanks to things like Tolkien-esque mythologies.
Mm-hmm.
For Irish culture, the Sheeda are the other people, the supernatural ones, the ones you don't want to have anything to do with them. You don't want to cross them. You don't want to have any dealings with them at all. That's where we are in Deadhaus. The Banshee were never alive.
Yeah.
They were that. And before anyone says it, I'm going to put it here and now directly on the stream. On Banshee, the female fairy. Okay? Just going to put that out there. Banshee, woman fairy.
Yes, Mike is Irish, so he knows this.
Very good.
He knows what he's talking about.
Actually in Ireland right now. Not one of these, my great-great-granddad. I'm in Ireland right now.
Yeah.
Nearly my entire life. But Calypso, the one thing I wanted to ask you, because ever since the Banshee's been announced, you're like, best girl. It's like, are you often attracted to things that will destroy you?
Yes, it's a character flaw. I'm working on it slowly but surely, but it is
You
a
often
character
attracted to,
like
things that are dangerous for you.
yes. The Banshee is my new girlfriend. When I was a kid, Shodan was my first girlfriend, followed by Gladys. So yes, I am attracted to dangerous women.
I like what
Um,
Bishop put there. Vampires shift during combat. White seems to be before combat, and Ghoul is after.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
never thought about it that way, but yeah, cool.
Neither have I. But yes, no, banshees are great. Even tradition, lore wise, I was going to say traditional, but no. Lore wise, they are servants of elder gods.
Yeah,
At least
we don't know. They
we don't know.
serve a great master, and we
Yes.
know nothing about that. And that, I think, from what I can tell when Jack's talked on other streams and stuff, I think that's going to be like a major arc and a
Hmm.
major secret. Like that's going to be like almost, I don't want to say like its own expansion or whatever, but that's going to be like a main story plot for like a particular chapter of the game or something.
Definitely.
Because like there's a whole lot of mystery alluded to about it, but we know Jack, and apparently even the other members of Deadhaus know Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like,
Not Jack Lindsay, guys. Like the
you
saying,
don't know
you
Jack.
don't know
I know
Jack. Yeah.
Jack.
Like, no, for those of us listening on Spotify, the Banshee is
Pretty lady.
picture a really pretty girl, with
At goth trick at the club.
oh yeah, picture a goth chick at the club. A really pretty girl. Her mouth is covered in like just blood because banshees have the banshee scream. So that's an
Eyes are
element.
glazed. Eyes are
The eyes
glazed
are
over.
glazed over. Her hands are almost. I want to say like if you guys have ever seen Edward Scissorhands, like that iconic Edward Scissorhands like hand pose. Her hands are posed like that. Only they are grotesque. And she
Talons.
doesn't have nails.
Massive
She has like
talons.
talons. Yeah. And
Almost
it's
harpy-like claws for
yeah,
hands.
yeah. There you go. That's a great description. Harpy like
And
claws.
covered in like this kind of silk drape thingy, but
Yeah,
could be a membrane, could be some
yeah. Someone,
ethereal
someone
thing.
I
We have
believe said
no
a
idea.
membrane too. Yeah, it's just
I
it's if
like
you
her
saw
earrings. I
this,
think they're from Claire's.
if you saw her at a distance, you wouldn't know she's a creature from your nightmares. And I think the other art or whatever that they have of her out is like her true form or something. This is just like her
Oh yeah.
her like
We won't
guise.
leave that surprise. That'll be for later on whenever there's like gameplay and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anyone that caught the Banshee reveal stream, or if you decide to be sneaky and go to Deadhouse's YouTube channel and check the Banshee reveal stream, she
Hmm.
gets far more horrifying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's gorgeous though. Like right off the bat, and like lovely.
There you go, Calypso. Something to tear your heart out with.
Hmm. Definitely. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Now with their playstyle, that's gonna be.
Oh yeah. Banshees are gonna be something
I have no
something
idea. I
I don't
legit
know
have no
either.
idea.
I want to say that they might be like to bring in like a Soul Reaver sort of mechanic of like a shifting planes. They might even have a
Like the
sort
Wraith.
of yeah, kind of like the Wraith, only maybe a little like moderated or different, where it's like banshees can shift. Possibly, this is just speculation here, folks. Banshees could probably shift into the physical world and do a bunch of physical damage, and then they can transition to the spectral realm or whatever it's going to be called in this universe, and either like gain power there, or maybe do debuffs against humans or something, or something. It's I don't know where they're going to take it at all. That's just my interpretations. That maybe if you switch into the spectral realm as a banshee, there might be other creatures for you to fight, like spectral monsters for you to fight or something, or
I
help,
didn't even
or
think about that.
that. Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Or maybe even get help. Maybe she can switch into the spectral plane and get help from other undead creatures as like a special skill you can call
Or
upon.
maybe she can hurt you in different ways from the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, that
like
too.
attacking you. Like if you imagine shifting, and they can attack a human on an essential plane, so they're destroying their soul.
Yeah, ooh, that's a good one. I like that. I
Is
like
there,
that.
why we're saying a bit of crowd control with their scream, perhaps? Bishop, Banshee is interesting. Some of the others seem to have straightforward skills or abilities, or skills you can think of. The Banshee is a mystery. True. The same way as
Yes.
the idea of the white is a mystery, I think the play style of the Banshee is definitely going to be one. Like, it's very easy to assume, oh, well, it's going to be a spellcaster. Well, we've got a
Hmm.
Wraith and we've got a
Yeah.
Lich.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I think
In
there's going to be something special with the Banshee.
in the early pre reboot, like internal reboot or whatever, the Banshees I remember were supposed to be the rogue class. They were supposed to be the traditional rogue type, two blades, backstabs, what I kind of imagined for the Wraith, or at least what I picture the Wraith could possibly be, was supposed to be the original Banshee. I'm sure that's scrapped now into something completely different,
Oh, yeah.
but that would be interesting to see if she was kind of like a rogue like character, if her switching into spectral realms was how she was able to backstab.
I think there might still be a certain rogue-like element to her, but I
Yeah.
don't think
Um,
she's going to be a pure rogue.
maybe she'll be
No.
a stealth character.
Especially, possibly, because they
Maybe.
have mentioned in the descriptions that the Wraith is the assassin.
Yeah. So there goes
So
that
I
idea.
I have no idea. I
Yeah,
legitimately don't, but I'm
totally up in
dying
the
to
air.
find out.
Completely up in the air.
Now, next on our list, we have one of my least favored classes.
Least favorite.
Yep. It's not that there's anything wrong. Someone's got to be at the bottom of the ladder.
Reminds me, Bishop reminds me of a specific shifting metal frame from another game. Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at, Bishop. Like maybe the Banshee will sort of be like a Raziel kind of like character gameplay wise, though. That's just a hope, I guess, or or a some kind of light speculation. Oh, the Lich. You don't like the Lich, Mike?
uh, it, someone had to be at the bottom of the ladder, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really the spellcaster type.
Ah,
You get
okay.
me? So
Yeah, no, I'm either one or the other. When I play traditional games, I'm either total like tank barbarian or I'm a wizard all the way and I'm throwing fireballs and everything.
the last time
Um,
I played a spellcaster was about 15 years ago in World of Warcraft. So
I
you know
think
what
the
they say.
Lich,
You know that
yeah.
old joke, don't you? You know what noobs and rogues have in common, don't you?
What?
They both pick locks. Doo-dum, dum,
But
psh. We have a video saying the ghoul is the bottom. That's just to get a rise out of Sundowner.
hmm Things
Lich
change.
is like, I'll roll all the characters. The Lich, I will roll it specifically for story purposes, and I'll probably have a bit of fun with it, but it wouldn't be like, that's not my main playstyle.
Yeah.
Like, again, sacrilegious of me to say, but like, I could see playing a ghoul. I can see playing a revenant. I don't do Lich. Like, spell
Mm,
casting to me is always kind of like standing in the background and kind of like, stand over there. I'm
yeah.
going to throw stuff at him. Like, I can
That's
do that if I'm an archer or something, because you can
yeah.
still get in with it, but
Like
not as a spellcaster.
yeah, I enjoy wizard characters for it's weird. Like I like wizard characters for that kind of opposite of, rather than if I get tired of getting up close and personal and beating people in the face with a hammer or something, then I want to stand back and like throw a really powerful fireball or a AoE or something and just take everyone out in one shot. That's why I love wizards. That's why I love spellcasters. Because they can be really weak or they can be really powerful, depending on how you play your spec or whatever. And the
That's normally
Lich,
how you can tell the strength of a game, by how powerful the like spellcaster is, because when they're too
mhm.
OP, the game's broken.
Yeah, exactly. Why not break the game on purpose, though? The
Mm,
Lich, the Lich is awesome. Like conceptually, the Lich, art wise, the Lich is amazing. And this is only one variant of the Lich. I know some
yeah.
people have like, and myself included here. I'm going on record saying this, that I like the Lich's concept art, deadhausonata.com. I like the Lich's concept art, even though his skull, or like his face, I want to say his face reminds me of the now traditional, way overdone, thank you, Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, Sauron helmet with the spikes. It's that's the first thing I think of when I see this image. But I do like it because if you get the Lich concept art and you really zoom in, his skull and his face and his helmet, or what maybe his helmet is actually fused to his face, or is his physical skull, and it's just sticking out of him.
Well, considering they're the only class that make themselves, like no one chose to be a revenant. No one decided that they were going to go out of their way to be a wight, but liches had to work hard, to become one.
Like that's what I think that's cool about the Lich. It's like you gotta really work hard to be a Lich, to be a wizard who wants ultimate power, and to really, I guess, take things to the limit, push it to the limit. You want that to be like a Lich, and then boom, you turn into a Lich.
I love the way he's pulling the soul out of that guy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
Again, shout out to Vertpaint again.
Holy crap. Totally. So Spotify listeners, once again, go on deadhausonata.com and check out all these beautiful artworks by Vertpaint. The Lich is, like I said, his helmet or his skull, it's got the Sauron kind of look, but it's his fused, like his face is just bone. You can see his skull nose there.
Death Eater mojo, totally.
Death Eater mojo, yeah. He's got a red fireball thing. He's got a book in his hand.
If you change the helmet, now helmet aside, that skull bit and all like that, but the rest of the armor, now I get a bit of a Skeletor vibe off.
Yeah, that's another thing. Skeletor, totally. But liches use humans as batteries. They can rip the souls of humans, and within this artwork, you see like almost a human slave of his, or a captive or something. There's one hanging on the back wall. There's one in front of him, and he's physically, you can see it. You can physically see the soul leaving their body as he drains it from them within this artwork, and it's gorgeous. It totally gets the concept about the red, I guess, is supposed to symbolize power, and how the Lich is gaining power from this and summoning power and using all that stuff. It's chef's kiss good.
They're beautifully done. Like the smoky effects and textures to the artwork in these, all of them are beautiful. The Lich, I imagine it's not because it's Deadhaus, it's not going to be as straightforward as you think. But this is our caster. Like this is clearly our main caster.
Stat wise, he is weak in like vitality in the physical tree, and he's also weak in the essence tree, or the essential tree. But he's in mana, he's maxed that thing out, baby. Like, yeah, all the way. I do believe that the Lich will be, your traditional quote unquote spellcaster character, wizard character. But with the way, whenever we end up using skill trees, and when we get that more fleshed out on St. Patrick's Day, then we can really kind of go over that and see like how the Lich is going to be. Like you can, play a traditional spellcaster with the Lich presumably, but you might even be able to do a little bit of battle mage, get a sword, charge up that sword and use it for magic wise or something.
Here's one. Wyvern Tamer says, I just saw, but there is a bit of an hourglass motif to the red power in the Lich's right hand. Yes.
I didn't even catch that. Way to go.
I didn't notice that.
Oh,
I just seen like, black and red smoke. I didn't pay too much attention, but that's, I want to know what the book is.
Probably.
It's Dr. Seuss.
It's Dr. Seuss. Yes. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
And then we'll be moving on to our final character, last but by no means least this evening. You know who it is. I know who it is. We have a particular person in our chat right now, dying who is totally mainlining this, we have finally the white.
The white.
I have the stuff from when we done the week one. So
yeah, perfect. That's fine. So yeah, we heavily went over the white in our last episode. The wheat. We heavily went over the white in our last episode. You can check that out if you haven't already. I mean, we pretty much covered it in our last stream, but like the white, I think is another one of those you just don't know where they're going to take it, like the Banshee. And the Wraith, and like I guess all these classes, like you can kind of see, from with all these classes, you can sort of see what their traditional roles will be, kind of. But with Deadhaus and with how things may or may not go, it's all really up in the air for every single class, for the Vampire, the Wraith, the Revenant, etc., etc., etc. It's all sort of up in the air, and the white especially is like the number one case for. We just don't know, or at least I don't know. I don't have any clues where they can go. I don't know about you, Mike, but
no, as far like as I know, I'm on the same page as the rest of you guys. But like just based on how it's been discussed in the reveal stream and all, it seems to be that this will be another one of those mix between the Ghoul and the Vampire, where it'll be able to adapt.
Yeah,
very openly. This will be the class you choose if you are not too sure what category you fall in, because you will be able to do a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing. And Wyvern Tamer says, of the shape-shifting classes, essential. These would be the slowest shifters, but I think it can focus the best.
Yeah,
that's
slow in regard to just because it needs to be assembled. So it's not like it can randomly change form itself. It needs to like stitch on body parts or remove body parts, surgically, magically,
Yeah. And like for those, once again, finally, for those of us listening on Spotify or listeners or just audio people, the white is picture the old Boris Karloff like Frankenstein, make it 10 times gross, 10 times more chaotic, and then throw in some Lovecraft, like some body horror Lovecraft, and there you go. There's your white.
Yep. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, brought to you by H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah. He's got like tentacle legs. He's got a crab pincer for an arm. He's got multiple arms, multiple heads even. Skins falling off, everything like that.
There's a good question from Red there.
Iron Man light in his chest, it's going on there. That is the soul.
Yeah.
That is the soul powering the thing.
The way a white is created is there has to be a particular magic artifact constructed, made, grown, developed. There are many different ways to do many different types, but you have an artifact, and through certain magics, the essence of being or beings are torn from the other side and contained within this artifact. This artifact is now alive. Now, there is a body built around the artifact. So the artifact is puppeteering the body, whether it's a typical Frankenstein look where it's just like literally a man with this core in its chest, a la Iron Man Frankenstein, or this magnificent abomination with 3 heads, 6 arms, and the gods know how many legs are under there.
Yeah. Like it's just super interesting. Like because traditionally, thank you, Wyvern Tamer, in our last stream also explained the whites pretty well, like where they come from historically and how they unlike, other traditional, creatures in fantasy and just folklore and everything, how whites are kind of formless and storyless almost. There's no real anything to them, so they had to come up with something completely different. And like some people have been complaining across like forums and Facebooks and stuff, like Deadhaus kind of has like generic artwork, but if you see the white,
where the hell do they get generic?
Exactly.
Damn.
If you see the white and you call this generic artwork of whatever a white is supposed to be, which is unidentifiable in the first place, then I don't know. Like, this ain't the game for you, I guess. You know, but it's because the soul battery. Speaking of the soul battery, terrible segue. Speaking of the soul battery, this is where that synergy comes in. We talked about it in our last stream as well. We can talk about it again here. I believe every class is going to be synergistic and kind of play really well with a certain other one. You know, Vampire is going to play well with everyone because he's middle of the road stat wise and ability wise and stuff, I'm imagining. You know, with how the white operates with a soul and being part of the essential realm, maybe he'll play really well with the Lich or play really well with the Banshee, stuff like that, you know, of how there's going to be definitely team ups or duos. You know, I know we joke around a lot in the Discord and everything of like a Revenant and a Ghoul, and like how there's going to be like a fastball special where the Revenant chucks the Ghoul across the map or something.
Oh,
you know,
I'd pay
that's
for
pretty
that.
apt. That's totally accurate. I'm sure if that's not in the game, then I'm going to sue. But
that's how you take down a city. You march up to the gates. They lock themselves in. The Revenants just hawk a load of ghouls over the walls until the humans come screaming out the gates.
Yeah, like it's totally that duology is, or I think that's the right word. Just like that team play, for lack of a better word, that team play, because Deadhaus is going to be an online game as well as a single player game. You can play with friends and everything. So that team play is definitely there. And I definitely believe they're setting it up for home runs.
Oh,
as
I definitely think that, especially with the way that you're going to be able to roll through with a good party of friends, that there will be levels of synergy among battling, because otherwise it'll just be like when you play certain games like Diablo, it's just kind of a mess. You're literally a ball of chaos rolling through. Everyone's doing their own abilities, but nothing works together. It's just mad effects on the screen.
Yeah, I got great stories.
Going to give you more.
Yeah. Like I loved playing Diablo 2 online back in the day. But that you're definitely right of how team play was either there because you were playing with a friend, or it was never there because you were playing with a bunch of randoms online. And playing with a friend is way more, you know, fun, obviously. But like that planning, like never have I seen in a game, in an online game, apart from like, you know, the 3 months or whatever that I played of Warcraft, of being able to, you know, plan stuff out and then executing it like perfectly to a T. That I did when I was playing Diablo 2 back in the day. Like I'd be running with my Necromancer, spawning up an army, and then you'd have a Sorceress and a Barbarian at your side. Like
I've got a load of my stuff here. I was about to pull this up, and then I seen where we it was starting to pull up old artwork. So give me a second.
Yeah. I do love the old artwork. You can still find some of the, if you do some really smart Googling, you can find, you know, what the old concept art of the Revenant was supposed to be, which might still happen. I hope it happens because some of it was really cool. Oh man, but yeah, like
there we go. The old stuff is gone. This is what I wanted to end on. Just having this beautiful one.
Yes, that's my current background right now. Yeah. All the classes together.
Great photo.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well done. I think Kat whipped that together. Yeah, well done, Kat.
Kat put that together, and she linked it to us in the Discord. Like, crap, that looks amazing. That was specifically for the class stream discussion. So I thought we should end on it and give a brilliant shout out there. You know, because that's
great job, Kat. Great job.
That's amazingly done. I want to see more of this. Like, how are these going to work together? And I just love the fact of like the guy in the corner, like worshiping the Banshee.
Yeah.
I don't know, Calypso. I kind of got a bit of you vibes off that.
I mean, it works. It works. Why not? She is the best girlfriend right now.
It looks like the Ghoul kind of doing a bit of a kind of a photo bomb.
Like a photo bomb. Yeah. You know, like the vampire is like darkly dabbing, like in a joke way, like some pointing obviously, but you know, there's a pose there, you know, and the gas tack is looking like kingly as always. But yeah, so it's going to be, you know, it's going to be something that I don't think anyone is really expecting. You know, you might you might have that kind of like, oh yeah, I called it, or like a feeling of familiarity may be there whenever we get more info, and like whenever the skills and the skill trees and stuff are revealed on St. Patrick's Day, I think, right?
Yep.
Um,
Countdown's on the website. Don't forget,
so I
check out
think,
deadhoussonata.com.
yeah, I think that that familiarity is going to be there. There's going to be something that clicks in your brain that's like, oh yeah, okay, cool, I get it, but it's still going to be like, oh wow, like an ah moment, an ah yes moment, you know?
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes, definitely going to be one of those, I think, for how everything plays and like how all these classes kind of work together and everything like that. Because just like alone, each class is incredibly like unique and different lore wise and stat wise and like look wise and everything. You know, like there, some of the traditional is there, some of that familiarity is there, but the new is also there. And I think seeing everything together like this, like we have now, and it's going to be something. It's going to be something. It's going to be
Yeah.
something.
It is going to be something special. I just can't wait till more of the announcements start rolling out in the next few little weeks and months. It'll be
Yeah.
there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline pretty soon. As Dennis loves to put it, there's a lot of stuff in the works. There is, and it's going to be amazing. So just before we wrap up, we throw them up on the screen, but for anyone listening, you can follow Calypso on Twitter at necrolibriatus.com.
Yep.
Necrolibriatus.
Necrolibriatus. You can follow me at Twitter at Necrolibriatus. You can follow me on YouTube at the Necrolibriatus. Faceless Mike on Twitter is obviously the Faceless Mike. Also on Instagram at the Faceless Mike and Twitch TV. Twitch TV / the Faceless Mike, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So feel free to follow him.
And don't forget to check out deadhoussonata.com, and you can follow them on Twitter at deadhousegame. And they are on Instagram as well, but just search for Deadhouse because I don't have it offhand here.
Yeah, I believe it's the same. I believe on Instagram it's also at Deadhaus Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check out. Oh, way to go, Rebecca. Way to go.
Oh, in with the links. You see, it's one of my mods there taking care of me.
Ah, I see. Good.
All right. I think we're going to be calling it at that. And we will have, I can't say anything yet, but we will have a lot to discuss on next week's one, because there will be an interesting reveal that I think a few people are looking forward to on next week's Deadhaus stream.
I know I'm looking forward to it. You're the one with the insider info, not me.
All in time, Kane.
Next time on Deadhaus Whispers next week.
Yep. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, everybody. Follow Deadhaus Sonata, do all that stuff, deadhoussonata.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time.
See you.